Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another crypto update. Today, I noticed there is a massive fear around Bitcoin. And I personally think it's all quite obvious, but when I look at the comment section, many people don't fully understand what's happening in the near future, and why this is all happening, what's causing all this. So today, little slap in the face, little reality check of exactly what's going on right now, what is pushing prices down lower, and where we think things are headed next. And if you guys like these sorts of videos, make sure you press that like button. Bada boom, bada bing, let's get in. I mean, I hope you've caught on, but if you haven't yet, one of the most crucial parts when it comes to the price action in the crypto market is the whales. And one of the most massive whales is obviously Grayscale. And take a look at this senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg and what he said about Bitcoin and the outflows from the massive Grayscale fund. There's a little longer story about the fact that people gladly locked their money, their Bitcoin up into Grayscale with no specific real end date, but now obviously they are able, because the door's been opened basically, to get out and make some very, very juicy profits. And so that's kind of the wishy-washy thing that's happening here. For a lot of the ETF providers, we're seeing massive inflows, and this is institutions that are ready to hop on in, and the numbers are pretty insane. Some people have said, oh, a few $1 billion in volume is not that crazy for the institutions that were on the sidelines. And I tell you this, most institutions are not rushing to be first, right? Even with this whole ETF game, it's not as if BlackRock was first to be like, yeah, we really want to get that done. No, they looked at all the others, eventually saw potential, eventually saw the stability, and were like, let's step in and do it properly. And the moment that they did, things went pretty quickly. When it comes to institutions in other fields as well, most of them are not rushing to be the first to test things out. And again, as these ETFs mature ever so slightly, a little bit after doors have been opened, they're keen to get in. And many of them are on the sidelines still looking and analyzing, as there might be 7 layers that it needs to go through, because at the end of the day, it is an interesting industry when you look at the Coinbase losses, etc. But one thing that's happening for a lot of big funds that were already in through the likes of Grayscale, they were locked in. They couldn't really get out. There's a longer story about that, but let's just say they couldn't really get out, and right now the floodgates have been opened. When we then look at this, when will the bleeding stop? I don't know. But this is some serious daily outflows for the 9 to have to battle every single day. That is, again, all the Bitcoin ETFs versus Grayscale, basically. They've done a great job so far, but damn, it's a lot to ask. Because if we're looking at the outflows, this is some institutions trying to basically take some profit here. It is quite apparent that the numbers are pretty severe. I mean, let's be honest here. This is the fund flow being negative in the millions, $600 million in a day, 500-ish million, 600 million again per day. And here's a little bit more of an explanation. Dave Weisberger explained it. Welcome to the freely traded securities, where fear trumps greed every time, and such selling almost invariably turns out to be wrong. The answer to your question is based on the composition of Grayscale Bitcoin holders. Hedged players who owned it for the arbitrage, because again, there was a difference between the asset value / stock of Grayscale and actual BTC on the market. So you could potentially have a nice little arbitrage play there between the real price of Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin in Grayscale's fund, which is why a lot of them decided to lock it up. And you could obviously trade the Grayscale stock every 6 months, but not basically redeem the Bitcoin until, well, the doors have been opened. Hedge players who owned it for the arbitrage have no net effect and will sell whenever the discount is sufficiently small, but will be buying back their short positions at the same time. This was the Widowmaker trade that we know was a large amount. Tax-free accounts switching to lower fee ETFs have no net effect and will do so over time, because Grayscale's fees are pretty damn high, whereas BlackRock right now, for example, is fully free. Taxable accounts taking profit or panic selling to preserve them are the issue. We have no idea what the percentage of these are or the average price of entry for these holders. But I will reiterate again, this is just where the floodgates open. And I've described this many times before, right? But we will mature over time. And right now there's a lot of arbitrage traders who are really keen to get out, or they might have their reasons, whatever. And it's like all the inflows from all the other ETF providers versus those of Grayscale. You can see the massive minus numbers here on the Grayscale and the positive numbers on the other 9. Because like I said, it's a battle of how much is flowing into every single one of these 9 versus how much is flowing out of Grayscale. But looking at the numbers, we're still in a pretty good situation. Volume is pretty freaking high if you ask me. And again, the net flows have also actually been pretty good. Eric said after 5 days of existence, the newborn 9 have about 40% of the Bitcoin holdings of MicroStrategy, just to provide a little context. Fastest ETF to ever get to $1 billion in assets out of the 5,000 different ETFs. BITO, 2 days. GLD, 3 days. IBIT in 4 days. And FBTC in 5 days. And you've got to understand here as well that BITO and GLD, so the number 1 and number 2, did not have the competition that this IBIT BlackRock ETF is having now, for example. And it's interesting that the number 3 and the number 4 are both for Bitcoin, perhaps number 5, 6, 7 as well. I did notice a lot of people bring up Mr. Jim Cramer because he tweeted again something just 16 hours ago. He said, nasty beginning to the Bitcoin sell-off. Someone's probably going to try make a stand here, but as we said last night, you can't have an asset double in value by hundreds of billions of dollars in anticipation of an ETF, and then almost no one shows up. Right, Jimbo, but then we look at the numbers, and this man, I swear, he is one of the most interesting investment characters in the world, and it makes me understand more and more why people are skeptical of investing. Because you have so many charlatans. You have so many interesting. I will say he's an interesting character. Let's put it at that. I cannot confirm any malintent. I cannot confirm he's anything bad, except for just very often wrong. That I can confidently say. Anyway, want to update you guys on some other things that I'm doing right now. Again, on this channel, what I like to cover is what is going on, right? What's happening soon, and what are we getting into to make freaking money in crypto? It's the truth. And you can see a couple of videos right here. I've actually recorded some that I didn't even publish yet. But if you just went through one of these 2 guides, or there's a third one that's like all the way down here, and there's one more up here because I've done a lot of guides on this. Already, you would have gotten yourself most likely eligible to a very juicy crypto airdrop. Already, in just a few days. Depending on when you did it, because I've been talking about this for a couple months, we would have already had 5, but I'm just saying, when I make these tutorials, guys, I don't make them for fun. Trust me, I don't think it's fun at all, but I know they will help a ton of people get more into crypto and earn thousands upon thousands of dollars for free. So when I go through the hours of effort to make a video like that, please make sure you check them out and press that like button, and don't be too lazy. The worst thing is if you're too lazy to get it started, you can even do it with like a couple tens of dollars. It's not as if you need crazy amounts. Anyway, it's called Alt Layer. I'm also farming it on Binance, by the way. But for the most part, people that are staking Celestia will get some sort of reward for doing so. And I think that's some of the most amazing stuff. So to all of you that follow my tutorial, congratulations. I think it's going to be absolutely massive. I think Alt Layer will be huge. It's just about how much money will you get for free. That's the question. And what are the minimum requirements? But they said Celestia stakers will be getting something, so that's nice. And like I've said many times, we have an investment firm. We try to get into cryptos early. Unfortunately, with this crypto, I was slightly too late, couldn't get in. But on the market, Satoshi VM at $3 something, like right at, I'm going to say like maybe 10 minutes after the tweet came out, because I thought the account got hacked. So I was a little bit skeptical. But that one has done amazing. And it showed to me, I just need to invest in more and more crypto projects early, man. I really need to look more at these launches. And I'm doing a video on how to get into launches soon. But the thing is with those, most of the time, the more money you have, the more money that you make. But hey, that's how the world works. One of the projects I bought not too long ago, for example, was Volum Min. I really try to go for as many AI projects as possible because I know the average return will be very high. Because the juicy thing is, I've actually done this for many projects that I just buy it at a certain price, hold on to it for a couple of weeks, and rake up the revenue that the project makes. Because as of this point, for every single of the projects that I've done it for, some have basically done this in price, but none of them have gone under the price that I bought at, but all of them have been bringing in juicy revenue. So it's kind of like a little bit of my play. Anyway, there's probably so much more, and I'll be diving in a little bit more later, but I just wanted to give you guys some thought process as to why I buy some of these coins, this one for that example, and because a lot of my friends are in it as well, in a sense that I kind of trust what they're doing, but I didn't buy in early or anything like that specifically here. I just bought it on the market because I think it's actually kind of smart. these guys know what they're doing, no? Anyway, as anybody can understand, whenever you're buying the more speculatory coins in not the best of markets, because right now we're a little bit wibbly wobbly, right? And again, as I stated earlier, what do we think is going to happen next? I personally think either Bitcoin is going to slurp up that liquidity slightly more down towards 39.6, fill the CME gap, and then bounce back up. We talked about all this on Dusty Trades with our strategy for where exactly we're buying, what exactly we're thinking, yada yada. But generally, I think over the next few weeks, months, we're just up and up and up, even though there are so many pieces of FUD, like the Grayscale outflows, like the SEC's delay. And you know, it's not like FUD is new to crypto. One of the things you see very often in bull markets as well is bridges getting hacked, exchanges getting hack attempts, protocols going down, etc., etc. And I notice now as well that this is my first season where I'm so crazy. And what I'm also working on in the background right now as we speak is either some more juicy trading tutorials and bot tutorials. I'm working on a little series of sorts with crypto bots. As I said just now, investments in the bots I very much like, but also trading with bots in a bull market is so easy that I think a lot of you guys should get into it. That is honestly, I'd say, the most profitable thing I did back in 2017, trading with bots. However, technology has advanced a lot over the last 6-7 years, and I'd say things are a lot simpler now with similar results because we also understand the cycle a lot more, but it all comes down to this. Crypto over the next year and a bit will pop off, so I don't have to worry, will it die out? No, it won't. So just how low can I get in? Anyway, but on a side note, for all of you guys that are on Bybit already and that have used my link down below, there's another link that I'll leave down below to Trade Masters Grand Prix. This is basically another competition that they're doing, $1.8 million so that they're giving away. And what I always tell to people is if you're trading, make sure you just sign up to any competition that they've got because it's free money that you might get. Sometimes you get money for just joining in. Sometimes you have to do things. I don't know. I don't care. I join any single one because there's no negative side. You might win something. And I trade a lot, so very often there is some little reward, even if it's only $1,200. So it's not the craziest if you're actually trading. It is still nice because it's for nothing. There's nothing you have to do. Now again, once you've registered, you can also get yourself some juicy bonuses, a $10 gift, maybe a poker set, maybe some other cool stuff. That's why I always tell people, make sure you check it out because you can get these lucky draws for just trading. And you can see one person that's trading a lot right now is winning himself $27,500 for, like I said, just trading. So yeah. Wow. And before I move on, today's video partner is actually amazing. I don't take those words lightly, but this is such a smart idea. We're talking about Big Arcade, and it says they're the world's first scalable play-to-earn browser arcade where gamers own levels and earn ETH. With their mission, monetize 1 million gamers free to play now to earn for their airdrop. And I always tell you guys, whenever there's an airdrop to be farmed, you better go for it if it's easy. And I think it's interesting how Jorge from a lot of projects, very well known in crypto, actually said, for those looking for a job, what if gaming can give you that job you wish you had? And if you think about it, it is indeed very interesting that so many people can live off of playing games nowadays, mostly though for making the content or being extremely good. But that paradigm is shifting as they'll be able to find more and more ways to compensate people for their time, attention, and I guess data. But obviously the biggest issue with all of this is that with this whole Web3 gaming, very often their token is either pretty useless or only on a decline. And these guys claim to have found a fix for it. Here's basically what that trilemma looks like, and here's their solution to the whole incentive trilemma. And apparently their idea is to grow their user base that will actually drive liquidity and yield without inflating the network's assets, which is a really interesting way, which basically makes it so that the token is a revenue / profit type of token economy. And if you're wondering, that big A stood for blockchain incentivized gaming arcade, where gamers can earn a USD denominated income simply by playing games. Now, that always sounds like such a dream, right? But I hope that one of these crypto projects can really make it into a reality. But theoretically speaking, it should be possible. And that's why I'm always so excited about new projects trying it a different way, because if they really get to where they aim to be, and if they've got what they claim to have, oh, that could be so huge. Especially if there's so many different mini games, it's not just one game. And so if you're interested in all this, I highly recommend you to look a little bit more into how the system works. I obviously don't want to spend all your time here looking too deep into it, but it's really interesting to me. From some perspective, you might say it's kind of sad that at some point people will really never have to leave their house because they'll be having an online girlfriend, being paid to play games all day online, have their food delivered, have their groceries delivered. But if we dial it back a couple of steps, This is beautiful. But it's a long story. There's a lot more to it that makes it very special. And so if this sounds like something you're interested in, definitely go ahead and check them out. And to stay in that narrative, so many cool things I'm looking into, guys. I'll just show you a couple. Easy, for example, I think is a really interesting one. And very often you can do things to get some tokens for free or get yourself an NFT for free or something like that. Very often there's opportunities. Always check it out. And another side note, most of them as well have some sort of unique selling point that makes it nice for the people to be involved. Playbugs, for example, the largest Web3 entertainment platform, just makes sense. Or Mixmob, where I just actually claimed my own little NFT bots, which is kind of funny to open. The world's first card strategy racing game. I showed this to you when I never uploaded that video, but I bought the Solana phone, as you guys might know. And this is a game you have on that phone, which is kind of funny. But here you can see even guys like Arthur Hayes, co-founder of BitMEX, is in it. Or something like 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏, which I think could also replicate some of the results that we just saw with Satoshi VM. Again, no guarantees, but I'm just saying, hey, they even retweeted my tweet. That's pretty juicy. Of different things that I'm looking into that I think would do really well. Never guarantees, but I'm just sharing some stuff. I think the CDFI IDO or IGO could actually also be pretty huge. I think Storm Warfare is a pretty juicy game. They built it very nicely. So I think, again, I'm just sharing some stuff that I think could do really well. I think this is one of the ones to definitely watch out for. And also launch pads like, for example, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏. But I'll make a video specifically addressing every single thing more in categories. This is just a little overview of what I do every single day. Look at different projects that are really hyped up. Look at what everybody is into. And then sometimes, if you can't get in early because you can't get yourself into an exclusive sale on a launch pad or you don't have the right people, then you try to buy it on the market as early as possible. But again, sometimes there are strategies where you don't buy it second one. You buy it, for example, after a week or two, or sometimes even a week or 4, to basically buy it over the bull market, as there's a lot of back end, yada, yada, yada. It just depends. There are a lot of strategies for this, and this is what you'll learn as you grow more into the investor rather than the just, oh, I buy 2 coins type of person. It takes time, but you get better over time. But honest talk, even on just 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗏, if you, again, I will not make guarantees, right? But if you've got accounts with some money inside, what I just do is connect them to 𝗕𝗃, because perhaps you can get into sales like Satoshi VM, and right now they're doing it for BFI, of which I don't know much, but I think BFI will also do really well, the next launch on 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗏. Again, if you're on 𝗕𝗃 and you scroll down, you can see whichever launch is right now going on, if you click on Launchpad actually. And here you can see, for example, for BFI Labs. The thing is though, I think they changed their terms. This one might not be as beautiful as before, because I think they might have gone from 10,000 or from 100,000 to 1 million, but perhaps it was already 1 million and I just mistaken it. But I think it was also supposed to end today, but now it's ending in 15 days. So they might have actually made the pool a lot bigger. Maybe because of the success of Satoshi VM, they decided to raise more money. Not sure. Again, can also not guarantee that any of these things would do well. BFI, I don't even know anybody in the team or anything, but I'll probably just try to buy on 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗏. Anyway, those are some thoughts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed them as to what's going on, what I'm looking into, and what's making money. If you guys have any specific thing you want to talk about more, just let me know down below. I've got another airdrop tutorial coming out. I've got a new top altcoins that I'm looking into coming out. I've got some cool trading tutorials coming out. I've got a lot of cool stuff coming up here that I want to share with you guys because we're still pretty early. We still have got time to really get to those crazy returns. Just imagine if you got into Satoshi VM just now, you got yourself, I think, like 100x on your money or so. I think maybe even 150. But this is something that's not that crazy if we look back at the 2021 times. It's just that over the last 3 years or so, we really haven't seen it too much, 2.5 years. And so people forget that it used to exist. And I can tell you right now, if you're really unsure how to turn $1,000 into 100,000, for example, just stick around. I'll show you it happening, I guess, multiple times over because it really happens more often than you realize, I think. But it's just knowing the right people, knowing the right thing, and having a little bit of luck. Or having big stacks of money. That can also help a lot. But yeah, that's about it.